1024, where your entertainment will be transformed.
Well, we've grown to meet many bong fellow addicts, and Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Hope you had a fantastic holiday season, and welcome to 2019. This is a slightly late video, but I figured why not start off the new year with an old video. I also just want to let everyone know that these aren't really ranked higher or lower than anyone else in the list. They're just 18 figures that I happen to really enjoy this year from everything that I got. So this is my top 18 Transformers that I got in 2018. So let's get started. Coming up in number 18, it is a very special gift courtesy of my lovely lady addictress for the birthday present. Mastermind Creation Coulter. For the longest time, I've always wanted to own a figure of the IDW DJD leader Tarn, and now I finally own him, and he is an absolute gorgeous beast. I love this figure to bits, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who happens to want to pick him up. He's beautiful. Get him. Once again, thanks to my lovely lady addictress, Power of the Primes, Predaking. And I say this with the fullest and highest extent possible. This guy is a beautiful beast. I remember when Combiner Wars kicked off, and I saw that we weren't getting Abominus or Predaking, but now we have him in Power of the Primes, and he's an absolute legend. Love this figure to bits, and I highly recommend him to anyone out there who wants to get it. Power of the Primes / Prime Wars Trilogy, Amazon exclusive, Punch Counterpunch. As happy as I was when we got Blast Off from the Takari Night Warriors Bruticus in the Hasbro line as a nice pleasant surprise of Repugnus, there was something about Punch Counterpunch that I always thoroughly enjoyed. The fact that he's technically a triple changer, but instead of having 2 vehicle modes, he has 2 robot modes and 1 vehicle mode. And to have a fully upgraded version of him for the modern day and age is just such a pleasant treat, and I absolutely love him. Power of the Primes, Abominus. Much like when I was talking about Predaking, I did not expect Power of the Primes to even be remotely close to Combiner Wars, and yet here we are, and we finally have all of the Decepticon Combiners except for Piranacon and Monstructor, which I hope we get more for Cybertron Siege, even though I feel like they're not really going to fulfill that. But it is absolutely wonderful to have a modern rendition of Abominus in my collection. Despite the fact I'm not a G1 kid, I do respect the characters and I do like them for what they are. And to just have a giant combiner comprised of monster robots is just... what's more to say? Studio Series number 14, Voyager Class, Ironhide. I'm really happy that we finally got the perfect rendition of Ironhide, and I really kind of hope they do a Dark of the Moon version with his giant heavy irons. I just overall really like Ironhide. He's my favorite Autobot from the Moonverse, the movie trilogy, next to Dino Mirage. And they made a very good looking figure of him. Pick him up if you want to, check out my review also. Robots in Disguise 2001 Scourge, and I have to thank Eli Thanatos Prime for hooking me up with him. I was never expecting to own this figure, and it was funny because I recently, well I say recently as of then, but as of that date back then, I was watching Robots in Disguise 2001, and I forgot how much I enjoyed Scourge, and then he messages me, he's like, hey, I'm sending you a care package, and here's a guess of one of the items. And it turned out to be him. So thank you very much, Eli. I really do appreciate it. He's an absolute beauty, and I love him to utter bits. Quite possibly one of my favorite Decepticons from 2001. Going into the land of the exclusives and the land of the obscure, BotCon Night DevCon. I don't know what it is about DevCon specifically, but I remember seeing him in the episode The Gambler in Generation 1, and when he showed up, he just looked like a really cool Autobot character. He's kind of like the equivalent of Lockdown, him being an Autobot bounty hunter who was hired to track down Astro Train and a bunch of other Decepticons. But I don't know, something about his presence and his appearance and his vehicle mode was really cool, and I just wanted to get his figure because he's cool. So yeah, and I have to thank my good buddy Greg Monroe on Facebook's Transformers Buying, Selling, Trading for hooking me up with him. I bought him from eBay and I did not know it was actually him, so it was very funny. But thank you very much, Greg. You've helped me through the years with collecting, and I could not be happier with this guy. Traveling even further into the realms of exclusives and the obscure, huge shout out to Optibotimus himself from YouTube for hooking me up with this guy as a late birthday gift for when I turned 23. BotCon Reflector. I don't know again what it is about Reflector, but the fact of the concept of three little dudes who are technically a combiner that transform into a small Polaroid camera is just really cool, and to finally own a figure of these characters is so welcoming to my collection, because now technically my Season 1 Decepticons are finished. So I'm very happy, and I have to thank, once again, Optibotimus for hooking me up with him. I really do appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much, and hopefully I can send you something as a late Christmas gift very relatively soon. Studio Series number 12, Voyager Class Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. Again, much like all the other figures, I'm just happy to have a very accurate looking, character in the Movieverse rendition. And Megatron is of no exception. He is phenomenally good. Despite the fact he's extremely hollow, and I forgive it for what it is, he looks great from the front, he looks great from the back, he looks great in tank mode, great in robot mode, and I could not be happier with the Megatron that we got. And I cannot wait for that battle damage version, because you know very well I'm going to pick it up. Energon Unicron! Huge shout out to my buddy Derivative Films, who has hooked me up with multiple figures in the past and still hooks me up to this very day. Thank you so much for this, dude. It is a very appreciative, very generous late birthday, late Christmas gift, and I could not be happier with him. I know he's missing his crotch place, but I got a friend of mine sending that piece in a care package of his own. Hopefully coming within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, for the longest time as a kid, I had the Armada Unicron, and he's an absolute beauty, but every time I went Energon toy hunting as a wee little squirt, I could never find him unless he was the Armada Unicron in the Energon packaging, and to finally have this version of Unicron, especially after recently watching Transformers Energon, is just such a nostalgia kick, and I could not be happier. Absolutely love this thing. It's such a beast. Studio Series number 18, Volkswagen Bumblebee from Transformers Bumblebee. If it wasn't for him and Ratchet and Shadow Raider getting up on Cybertron.com, getting my reviews up there, that would not be possible. So that, and I'm kind of in love with Bumblebee now ever since I saw the movie. And the figure itself is just really good. It doesn't hold together all too well or anything, but it's a beautiful looking Volkswagen mode, looks great in robot mode, and I have a lot of fun with it. So yeah, cute little Volkswagen bug boy. Revenge of the Fallen Scout Class Skystalker. I remember seeing this guy a couple times in store, but I never really took the chance to pick him up because I kept talking to myself like, hey, he was never in the movie, so why are you buying his figure? And then I saw video reviews of him paired up with a NES Global Alliance Mindwipe, and the fact that they can technically combine together. I just wanted it. And I have to thank TF Customs from Instagram for hooking me up with him and a bunch of other stuff in 2018. Really do appreciate it, dude. Send your pod soon, I'm sorry. And or maybe even by the time of this recording, it's already sent. You won't know. But yeah, thank you so much, TF Customs. Love this guy. Just a little black stealth bomber boy. He's quite possibly one of my favorite scout classes of Revenge of the Fallen, and one of my favorite figures of 2018. Once again, dipping into the territory of third party, and another huge shout out to Optibotimus for hooking me up with him on my birthday. Planet X Quirinus, otherwise known as Fall of Cybertron Slug. And this was the last Dinobot that I needed to complete my Fall of Cybertron Dinobots. I do know there's Paddles, the Plesiosaur available, but I have no major interest in them yet. Plus, it's another $50 to spend, and I'm trying to save money this year, so I'm not going to pick him up yet. But I have to thank Optibotimus for this guy, because he is an absolute big, beefy, beautiful Triceratops dude, and I love him to utter bits. So thank you once again, Optibotimus. I really do appreciate it. Going back to something a little old and retro, another huge shout out to my buddy TF Customs on Instagram for hooking me up with Revenge of the Fallen Stratosphere. I had him as a kid and slightly older teen, but the issue I had with him one day was I went to go transform him, and unfortunately this one kind of has the same issue. There was a crack on this hinge for his wing that completely snapped off the wing, and I lost him forever, and we have him in a parts bin somewhere in case something happens to this one. But to have him fully complete, nice and good, and just nice looking, it makes me so happy to actually have him once again, because he's just a really obscure, weird looking robot that transforms into a C-130, or C-17. So thank you very much, TF Customs, I really appreciate it. War for Cybertron Siege Voyager Class Optimus Prime. I have to thank a good fan, Marvel's Prime or XT Animations or whatever he goes by here on YouTube or Instagram, for hooking me up with him. I have taken very good care of him. I haven't transformed him in a while. I played with him a little bit, so I'm sorry. But you will be seeing this in future stop motions as well as other War for Cybertron Siege figures, and I just really appreciate the generosity and everything, dude. So thank you very much. He's a good figure. Pick him up if you want to. He's brand new. Moving on to the final three before we hit number one. War for Cybertron Siege Cog. And I especially have him down there just because he is quite possibly another reason why I got on Cybertron.com. Not only that, but my reviews got shared with MGO316, Bolt Matrix, and a few other YouTubers, including my buddy BC. And he's just a fun figure. He comes into two different components, Gasket and Grommet, and then he also can combine with other War for Cybertron figures, and even Fortress Maximus to give him some armament. And he's just fun. Cool looking robot mode, cool looking vehicle mode, cool little second little vehicle modes, and the playability factor on this guy is ridiculous. So pick him up if you want to. And check out my review as well. A lot of exclusives on the list this year. But of course, I have to add San Diego Comic-Con, Power of the Primes, Throne of the Primes. This was honestly a figure that I actually saved up for, and I bought on Hasbro Toy Shop the moment it went live. And to actually be able to do that was quite an achievement in Transformers collecting for myself on its own. That, and he's just a beautiful mold altogether, and he came with the last 4 remaining Prime Masters that I needed to finish off the 13 Primes. The Primal mold is great, a lot of playability, a lot of fun, and he even looks nice with the Beast Wars guys in this color scheme. I still want the retail one though, but he's the placeholder for now, and he's a beautiful one at that. Now before we go to number 1, let's go ahead and do some honorable mentions. Revenge of the Fallen Voyager class Starscream. I have to thank my lovely lady Addict for hooking me up with him again because I had an incident with my old one involving a cockroach and a busted tail fin piece. Made me sad. Nice to have him back though. Cyber Battalion Shockwave, just because he looks really good with the Generations Voyagers, and any other Generations figure for that matter. A lot of people may disagree with me on this one, but Studio Series Dropkick, mainly because Dropkick is quite possibly my favorite Decepticon in the Bumblebee movie, and he actually does make for a pretty good looking figure. And let's be real, you all knew this was going to happen because I love every Transformer ever to exist. Any other Transformer that I got in 2018 because I'm happy with each and every one that I get. Now, on to number 1. Robots in Disguise 2001 Omega Prime. Basically, it was a hard choice between Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime, so I have to thank my friend and non-official sponsor, Big Red Vintage Toys, for hooking me up with the Optimus Prime, and a huge shout out to my lovely lady Addictress for surprising me with a little package in the mail of RID 2001 Ultra Magnus. Absolutely blown away with the engineering and the innovation of each figure as individuals, and together they just make both figures really pop. And like I said, rewatching 2001, I fell in love with Omega Prime all over again because it was a very interesting combination and it looks freaking cool. So there you have it. There are my top 18 Transformers figures of 2018, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you happen to have a list of your very own, why not share it down in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to reply to you guys as soon as I can. Stay tuned for big stuff this year, everybody. There's going to be a lot more consistent content on the channel, to the best of my ability, but I promise you, you will not be disappointed, and thank you all very much for all the feedback, the love, the support for the last few years, and I hope I can continue to entertain you for many more years to come. But with all that being said, my fellow addicts, pretty much all there is to say, so please remember, until next time, to get addicted, stay addicted, and TF Addicts for life! This is TFA 1024, the Transformers Addict. Roll the guards!